We have a reception that will be forming shortly, and that reception is sponsored by Inca Renew. Okay, come on over, Paul. Introduce yourself, your firm, and we then have a follow-on presentation by Doug Schweitzer, the Minister of Economic what's he the Minister of?
Jobs, Economy, Growth.
Yeah, jobs. Well, you tell them.
Sure.
You introduce them.
Hey, afternoon, everyone. I'm not going to bore you all and echo the points that have been made today. Nobody wants to hear another speech when we know there's drinks forthcoming. But, I think today was pretty darn incredible. I think we've moved, and I'll say this, industry beyond some fragmented companies with separate visions of what's possible to a more unified approach to actually create something that that I feel can rival canola or any other major agricultural commodity in this province. And I think today and the Alberta Hemp Alliance today was a win. I'm going to say today was a win. I don't think we could get a better win than today. I know there's maybe some other thoughts on that, but I think today's a big win. I think if this is a hockey game, we're in the second period and we're up 4-0. That's where I think we are. So I'll kind of end it at that, and I think we've got an introduction from the Honourable Minister Schweitzer. I don't know if it's live or pre-recorded. He's ready. Okay. So if I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce the minister, and unfortunately he couldn't be here in person today, but we very, very much welcome his words.
Hey everybody, Minister Doug Schweitzer here. I'm the Minister of Jobs, Economy and Innovation, and just want to bring greetings here to the team at the Alberta Hemp Alliance and the conference. Sorry I couldn't be there in person today, but just want to share a little bit of details about Alberta's recovery plan. In the summer of 2020, I was asked to take this on for the province of Alberta, and at that point, there was an immense amount of uncertainty in our province. We weren't sure if the vaccines were going to work, if we're heading into a big global recession. So there's just an immense amount of uncertainty and what was the path forward for the province of Alberta. So I really want to say a huge thank you to the ag community, the hemp associations for their engagement, as well as in collaboration with Minister Horner, our Minister of Agriculture and Forestry and Rural Economic Development. The amount of collaboration that's happened over the last 2 years to make sure that we look at every opportunity that's available to us as in the province of Alberta to diversify our economy. And it really was a matter of having whiteboarding sessions, figuring out what the path ahead needs to look like. And when you look at where we are today as a province, here we are in 2022, and looking back, there was so much uncertainty, but where we are today, Alberta truly is in the driver's seat. If you look at the traditional drivers of our economy, the energy industry, the ag sector, the forestry industry, everything's firing on all cylinders. On top of that, we're seeing an immense amount of diversification in everything from film and television, the tech and innovation space, and there's a lot of innovation in ag. Ag tech is huge. We're seeing this in warehousing, logistics, manufacturing, aerospace, aviation. The growth trajectory for Alberta right now is just amazing. And that's one of the reasons why we've seen the unemployment rate for Alberta continue to drop. And right now it's at about 6.5%. And when you take a look at where we've been, that's the lowest it's been since December of 2018. And we're anticipating that as this year goes on, we're going to see that unemployment rate come way below 6%. We're looking at a huge amount of growth right now for Alberta. And this didn't just happen by chance. This was the private sector, the entrepreneurs, engaging with us as the policymakers and trying to figure out what is the best path forward. And I'll give you just a little flavor for what our approach has been. We'll talk a little bit about where the opportunities we think are for ag. I won't steal Minister Horner's thunder on this. I know he's our expert on ag in this whole space and the opportunities here in hemp. But we took the approach of we have to get the big picture right. How do we make sure that this is the right environment for business in Alberta? So we lowered the corporate tax rate. We took the corporate tax rate in Alberta from 12% down to 8%. So the lowest in the country by a considerable amount. We're an outlier when it comes to corporate tax rates in a good way, that we want business, we want investment in Alberta. On top of that, we took a look at red tape reduction. Our goal is to reduce red tape on businesses by 1/3. So we've taken that big step. We're well on our way towards that. We were well over 25% of our way there. Again, hundreds of thousands of regulations, forms, redundancies. just eliminated in our province. That saves people time, saves them money, and just makes Alberta far more efficient. The other side of it was to get our fiscal house in order. And you would have seen recently, we balanced the budget in Alberta. Not only did we see a rebound in royalties and revenue from the energy sector in particular, but we wouldn't have balanced our budget if we didn't make the tough decisions on getting our fiscal house in order. So when we formed government, Alberta was an outlier by a considerable amount in Canada, spending way more than every other province. And now we're on par with the big provinces in our country. And that's going to give us the ability to continue to be the low tax jurisdiction, the business friendly jurisdiction in Canada. It gives us that strategic advantage overall. So that's kind of the macro stuff. And that is working. We're seeing the employment rate go up. We're seeing people participate again. We're seeing huge job opportunities. But then we also looked at, okay, let's get the big picture right, but how do we further diversify our economy? And you kind of look at where we've been historically. We've been talking about diversification of Alberta's economy going back decades and decades. Even going back to the Lougheed era, the Getty era, the Klein era. We've been talking about diversification in Alberta for a long, long time. So when we looked at building out strategies, in a lot of these areas, they complement each other. So that's why I want to spend a little bit of time kind of giving you some highlights. Like when you look at the technology and innovation space, so we recently launched our strategy in this area. But you look at artificial intelligence, machine learning, the opportunities in robotics, warehousing, agricultural technologies. If you go to Olds College, they literally have a tractor drone that they put out there in the field, and it has 5G connectivity. All those pieces add up to career opportunities, job opportunities, and disruption in every industry, and particularly as it relates to hemp. When it comes to the opportunities, when it comes to materials and construction, you've got clothing opportunities, all the different stuff that hemp adds. The investments that we're making with Alberta Innovates in particular is going to allow us to be at the forefront of research and development in this field, proving out those concepts, testing them, taking an idea and the research that's done in our post-secondary institutions, getting it into the incubation of business, and then getting it out there into the field as well. So that's really where we're seeing that diversification opportunity in the technology and innovation space. We're also seeing for Alberta in the warehousing, logistics, manufacturing, there's a huge opportunity for us. Right now, with the Port of Prince Rupert, which is the third busiest port in Canada, as well as the Port of Vancouver, which is the busiest port in Canada, Alberta has a big opportunity to be a logistics hub for Western Canada, bringing products into our country, and just being that opportunity for people to come and build businesses. So we're looking at that as an opportunity as well for how do we take manufacturing to that next level? And we're seeing an immense amount of success. In a couple of areas that we've already seen grow dramatically are the aerospace industry. Recently, de Havilland, which is a big company, set up their headquarters for Canada in Calgary. They're putting in 500 manufacturing jobs. And we're seeing big players like Amazon, Lowe's, Walmart use Alberta as a distribution hub. So we're seeing that as a big opportunity for us to make sure we have the right infrastructure in place, the right policies in place, to make sure we attract investment to make Alberta the logistics hub for Western Canada and into parts of the United States as well. So that's a big opportunity for us. We also have the workforce to get that done. Alberta is affordable. You can make sure that you can pay your people an amazing wage, but at the same time, you can actually afford to live in our province. You take a look at the pricing in Toronto, Vancouver, young people living in 500 square foot apartments that cost $1 million. You can have an amazing quality of life in Alberta. There's an advantage for us in that area. So we're seeing success attracting those businesses in. We also think this is an area for us where we can build out value add ag. And this goes into every department of ag, from canola crushing to vertical farms to the hemp industry as well. We think that this is a big opportunity for growth for us in our province. And I won't steal too much of Minister Horner's thunder on this. But when you look at what we did with the Investment and Growth Fund, so we took a look at the state of Texas. So Texas used to be a big, kind of concentrated like Alberta in energy and ag about 20 years ago. And they've made a big push to diversify their economy. And we looked at, what are the different tools that they use to get that done? And they had a tool there to help deal with site competition funding. So we brought in place our Investment and Growth Fund. So if a project could come to Alberta, a project go to Saskatchewan, south of the border, it's meant to be that deal closing piece to make sure that that project comes to the province of Alberta. And we've seen so far, we just launched this last year, and we've already got about $1 billion of capital projects attracted to our province where this helped seal the deal to bring them to Alberta. And the bulk of those projects were ag driven. And we think, again, this is that little bit of that final piece to get those investments into Alberta. So I want to highlight that for the Alberta Hemp Alliance here, that this is an opportunity where we think, if there's a project that you're looking at, but it could go anywhere in the world, or it could go anywhere in Western Canada or in the US, take a look at the Investment and Growth Fund. There's an opportunity here to make sure that we already know we've got the low tax environment, no payroll taxes, the competitiveness that we're trying to build here in our province, but this could be that final piece to help bring investment into Alberta. We're also building out in our most recent budget a particular stream of the Investment and Growth Fund as it relates to rural Alberta. So if there's projects in rural Alberta that you're looking at, but again, it could go anywhere in the world, could go anywhere in North America, take a look at that. We want to work with you to create business opportunities and basically take a look at how can we change communities for the long term and create further employment opportunities in Alberta. I always talk to some of my rural colleagues and talk about the big impact that a facility that employs 100 people in a small community can be a community changer for decades. So we're looking as well at how do we make sure we diversify and strengthen rural Alberta. So I'm going to stop there. There's so much more to talk about in ag and opportunities and jobs for our province. Good luck with the conference. And I'll just leave you with one final note. We've been through a lot in Alberta for the last 6-7 years in particular. Lots of ups and downs, lots of uncertainty as to what does the future hold for our province. But when you look at where we are right now in Alberta, this is going to be an amazing 2022. Look at the economic recovery in our province, and look at what this decade that's yet to come is going to look like. And I haven't been this excited about the future of Alberta in a long, long time. This is going to be Alberta's decade. The 2020s are going to be Alberta's decade. You're starting to see people move again to our province. It's an amazing time to be in Alberta, and we're looking again to work with the Hemp Association on business opportunities, research opportunities, and making sure that it's a successful industry in the province of Alberta. So thank you so much to everyone, and good luck with everything today.